Anything can happen in November.
Bunker Hill, Salisbury Hill, One Tree Hill, forget about it. Chestnut Hill, the place to be this weekend, Alumni Stadium, as the 17th ranked Eagles are hosting number 2 Clemson. I can guess who Doug Flutie is pulling for. We got a great crowd out here today. It's a chilly day in Massachusetts, but these fans do not care as they gear up.
It's not chilly for them.
Not at all. Not at all. They are fired up.
Yeah.
He's Des. He's David. I'm Jen. Des honoring Veterans Day this weekend with the appropriate attire. We appreciate
Salute the service. That's right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, Clemson has won the last 7 matchups against the Eagles. That doesn't bode well as far as history goes.
Dang.
But let's start here. What can BC do to pull out the upset this weekend, Des?
Well, first they need to practice ball control on offense. They have to run A.J. Dillon, and they have to run, I think they have to sustain 10, 12, 14 play drives, where at the end of those drives, they got to score touchdowns, too. Can't kick field goals. What that does, it actually keeps that high-powered Tigers offense on the sideline with Trevor Lawrence and that group. You want them, there he is right there. A.J. Dillon leads the conference in rushing yards per game at a clip of 128 per contest, averaging 5.5. He's just a big running back, loves to go downhill, and I think this is the type of game and this type of weather that he's made for.
You know that's called when you got A.J. Dillon running downhill at linebackers and safeties? That's
What's
a
that?
business decision. Because those thighs and booty are like this.
Exactly.
So don't nobody want to tackle him.
Nah.
They better hope so. But you know what? I think they need some Mother Nature. They need it to be cold.
Colder
it needs to
than
be
this, right?
windy. It needs to be snowy.
Sloppy.
It needs to sloppy.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, as a guy that played at Georgia, when I got drafted by the Bengals, I was like, what the heck is this? I mean, good Lord.
That hawk hits you in the face.
Yeah. So you can get some of that will help. But how about Brown, QB? I mean,
Anthony Brown, yeah.
Anthony Brown has to complete. Listen, you go back and watch the tape from this game a year ago. A lot of blitzes, a lot of man coverage. Anthony Brown has to get some guys out of the box and play really well. A.J. Dillon, I know, is going to do his thing as much as he can against his front, but they got to be able to pass the ball.
Dillon has been dealing with a sprained ankle, but all indications are that he will be good to go.
Who are they playing?
Exactly. He's not
your
going to keep
butt on
him
the
out of this
field.
game.
He's going to be out there. That's
Whatever
right.
it takes, he'll be on that field tomorrow night.
You guys mentioned the elements, obviously. The temperature for tomorrow is a low of 31, but it is supposed to be clear. But a lot of rain tonight. It could muddy up
Make
that
it
field.
sloppy.
Absolutely.
It's gonna
Trevor-
be windy,
Get the
too.
water
Very windy
hoses
day,
if you're
too.
BC, if you're doing the field crew, wet down the field. Yeah, absolutely, whatever it takes.
And Trevor Lawrence, guys, apparently has never played north of Virginia. So it is going to be a culture shock, a weather shock for the quarterback
Very
of
true.
Clemson. Ground game, obviously, will be a strength for these Eagles tomorrow night. All right, guys, a lot of the top teams in college football, in the college football playoff ranking, are expected to win this weekend. In fact, guys, they're expected to win big. Look at the lines for some of these matchups. Each of the top 7 teams in the rankings favored by at least 13 points. That includes the 3 matchups between the ranked teams. So let's exclude Clemson and BC because we just discussed that matchup. Okay. Could we see an upset for any of these matchups this weekend? Des.
Wow. I'm not calling for an upset, but I think the Florida State-Notre Dame game could be a little closer than the experts think because Ian Book is not playing. I mean, they're going back to Brandon Wimbush. And when Wimbush is in there at quarterback, they're pretty much a run first, run second, run third type of offense. I mean, they really are. And I think Florida State, they have athletes on defense. The cupboard wasn't bare, but now we're going to find out, David, if Willie Taggart has lost his team. By the effort we see tomorrow against Notre Dame, we'll be able to see if he lost his team or if they're still buying in. Because I think there are going to be some opportunities tomorrow against Wimbush.
Yeah, and Clemson, or watching that Clemson-Florida State game, there are a lot of guys tapping their heads coming out of the game. So it will be interesting to watch. You know what else? I think LSU, after playing Alabama, and that physical game, get up for it. Ed Orgeron talking about, this isn't another week. We know this is Alabama week. Well, now you're going to play Arkansas.
Yeah,
And I don't know what you can do to get jacked up because if you're watching Arkansas, they're not very good. So I'm not saying LSU's going to leave, but the same type of thing, I think it could be a better game than expected just because you're not ready for it.
Oh, we got some signs already.
Nice.
You guys getting ready for tomorrow morning or college game day will be crushing this area.
That's funny.
Sauce boss.
Funny.
Mom, what is a Clemson?
Guys, Guys being dudes. All righty, dudes.
Remember a couple years ago when he said dudes? That was good.
I love seeing the energy that we're already seeing out here on College Football Live. You know it is going to translate over to action tomorrow morning, guys. All right, we are going to talk about who's in, so it's only fair to talk about who could potentially be out next on College Football Live. Plus, they don't like Notre Dame here.
What?
What about Michigan? You like Michigan?
They
Bama?
They certainly don't like Clemson, guys. Saturday on ABC, it's the ACC battle between Trevor Lawrence and number 2 Clemson, number 17 Boston College. Of course, the favorite of these fans here.
We are the Mass National Guard stationed at Hanscom Air Force Base, and we want to give a shout out to Boston College and say,
Go Eagles, beat Clemson!
Kudos to the Massachusetts National Guard for that shout out. Now let's take a look at our Navy Federal Credit Union All-American team, recognizing the best and brightest ROTC seniors from across the country. On December 6th, we will be announcing the winner and recipient of the ROTC Senior of the Year Award. And our blimp-worthy player, presented by Goodyear, is former BC great Mark Herzlich, the 2008 ACC Defensive Player of the Year. He had 11 interceptions, 30.5 tackles for loss in his BC career, and he made a very special announcement the last time game day was here in 2009.
You got some very, very good news delivered in a very matter-of-fact way. Most recent diagnosis.
Right. Well, I was out to see a movie with my roommate, and I got a call from my dad saying that he wanted to know if the rebate check from Apple was to him or to me. And then I said it was mine. I can't keep my money. But then, you know, he said, oh, yeah, we met with Dr. Staten today, too. I was like, okay, well, what did Dr. Staten say? And he goes, well, he looked at your MRIs, and he said he's you know, about 99% sure that the cancer is completely gone.
Almost a decade later, and that is still such a fantastic moment. It sends chills down your spine. Mark Herzlich here with us on the set of College Football Live. The fans here love him. They really, really do. What do you remember from that announcement that day?
So, first of all, the day was so special. I actually had gotten blood work done the day before because my red blood cell count was so low, and the doctor said, you're not going to be up for even going on the set. And what game day did was bring this energy, not only to me, but to my fight and the students and the fans. They lifted me up. And to be able to announce on set that not only, you know, I was back and I was fighting and saw people wearing the, you know, that ridiculous eye black that I wore, that I was tempted to wear right now today. I'm back on set.
Oh, you should have.
Yeah. But to not only see them supporting me, but also to just feel that. I was able to announce that I was cancer-free. I was able to launch a platform to start helping other people who were diagnosed with cancer. And, you know, in a way, that announcement, this game day set, was the start of my future, the start of my next life post-cancer.
What have you learned about, that is awesome. Like, people have injuries, and people have those moments in their life where it just changes them forever. What did cancer do to your attitude and your outlook on life just from being a football player and then going through that?
Well, it puts things in perspective, and it makes you realize what is really important. And I think that it's a misnomer that people think that the athlete's sport falls by the wayside when they think about what's really important to them. For me, it was, okay, I am a football player. This is what I identify myself with. And so football became something that, while I was sick, this was my important factor. This was what's driving me to not only get healthy, but get back on the field. And I encourage people, when they do get hurt or they do get sick, to find something that is a part of their goal, that they do love and identify themselves with, and sometimes it's their sport.
Mark, a motivational speaker now.
Yeah.
We just all benefited from that. Honestly, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So great to have you here. We do want to talk a little bit of football with you because that's still your wheelhouse as well. So let's begin with this. This week's college football playoff rankings are brought to you by PlayStation 4. Alabama and Clemson still holding down those top 2 spots. Notre Dame and Michigan have moved into the top 4. You're starting to see how they feel here at Boston College, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, that Georgia wins the SEC championship game, Clemson and Notre Dame and Michigan all win out. Guys, Mark, let's start with you on this.
Yeah.
Which team do you think gets left out of the mix?
Well, I think so. If Georgia wins that championship game, Dave and I were kind of talking about it earlier. If Georgia beats Alabama, I still think Alabama is the best team in the country, and I can see Notre Dame being with no losses, still being left out.
Which they love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So not just a rival, Catholic rival, but I can see them potentially being left out.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because then it's either going to be, Clemson? Clemson's going to be in.
Yeah, Clemson's going to be in.
And so you're looking at Michigan. Georgia's going to be in because they beat Alabama. So I think it would have to be Notre Dame. They don't have a championship game, and I know people say, well, they won the head-to-head to Michigan, but I mean, when you win that game so early in the season, no one really thinks about that game any longer. I don't think it really counts.
David, I know you got thoughts on that.
Yeah, we did the ranking show on Sunday, and it was Sunday, Tuesday, whatever day we did it. The days all run together now. And I was blown away by this because I was kind of surprised. But no, I think Georgia's in. I think Alabama obviously has still a good shot to be in because the perception is that they are. Right now, they look like the best team, period. So they would have a close loss to Georgia. To me, there isn't a world that exists. To me, again, everybody's different. You saw two different opinions. Why the heck do we play the games? Why do we play the games if head-to-head doesn't matter?
Because Notre Dame beat Michigan.
Notre Dame beat Michigan. Notre Dame's in. To me, it's very simple as that.
I don't want to derail this train too far, but
that's a good point. But there are other criteria to follow as far as trying to get teams in. I mean, it's just not that simple. We've seen that in the past. So
if they have zero blemishes too,
that's the thing. What would Notre Dame have to do then to get in if they go undefeated?
They will have to destroy teams because at some point when you start to split hairs, style points matter, and we found that out too in the selection process. Wow. It's not that simple. You beat this team head-to-head, just like what? Penn State beat Ohio State head-to-head that one year. Ohio State win.
But the records weren't the same, though. Huh? Penn State had 2 losses.
Right,
Ohio State had
we're not
1.
talking about records. You just said simply if you win head-to-head. You didn't say anything else. That's all that matters. You said, why should we play the game? You said because they beat them head-to-head.
And that's the part of it, obviously, we have to use common sense. Like Pitt beat Clemson a couple years ago. That doesn't mean they're a better team.
Sense ain't all that common when you deal with the selection committee. If Notre Dame, it depends on the person.
If Notre Dame is undefeated, 0 losses, took care of business, and beat Michigan, I don't see how any way, shape, or form how they'd be left out of college football.
It does feel like an excuse. There's an excuse for not losing.
If the battle was between, if the selection committee said we want to see if we should put in Georgia or Notre Dame, then you say Georgia's out, even though they beat the #1 team in the country.
No, I think you can make a case for that for sure.
So you would put Notre Dame in over Georgia, even though Georgia beat #1 Alabama?
Okay, if you're going Georgia head-to-head with Alabama with Notre Dame.
Like say if they boil down to whatever matrix, whatever algorithms they use, and they say, okay, these are the 2 teams that we think are close. Georgia and Notre Dame. Which one do you put in?
I would pick Georgia. I think Georgia beating Alabama would be very impressive late in the season. I would put them in. But again, Georgia and Notre Dame didn't play. Michigan and Notre Dame played.
I said if that's what they boiled it down to. We know who played who. We already know that.
Yeah.
And it might be different if Ian Book ends up playing or sitting for the rest of the season.
That's a big thing to watch.
That's a big issue.
Huge thing to watch.
That's a big issue.
But I still can't imagine an undefeated team being left out of the top 4 for a team that they beat that has 1 loss on the record, even if both teams went out. Again, you're right that they would have that extra data point, Michigan, because they'd have won the Big Ten championship game as well. So let's get back to Mark for a second, because this is something everybody wants to hear. Give us a prediction for tomorrow night's big game.
Oh, man, I wish I could say that. I wish I could say.
Hold on, y'all listen up, please.
I wish I could say that BC was going to win this handily. I do. So this is. So you're saying there's a chance. BC has a chance.
Okay.
BC has it, and I'll tell you why. Their offensive coordinator and their offensive play selection throughout the past 6 or 7 weeks has been on point. They've game planned and schemed opponents very, very well. I think that with their 2 edge rushers, with Zach Allen and Wyatt Ray coming off the edge, Wyatt Ray's 4th in the country in sacks. He's got 9 sacks in the season. If they can get pressure, if they can keep this game close towards the end, then there is a chance.
There are a bunch of ifs in that. Don't let him off the But listen. Turn around. This sign caught my attention. See the sign, the green sign? Hey, Trevor Lawrence. Snip. Now look at this guy. Look at his long hair, too.
You got hair in there?
Are you jealous of Trevor's locks or something? I'm just saying. He has long hair like Trevor Lawrence.
He said he needs to be the only one with long hair.
Snip.
He didn't like
I don't
that.
talk about people's hairstyles. I don't go there.
I'm being jealous of Trevor's golden locks.
He thought he was slick, by the way. Remember what we used to do to each other? Who you got?
Oh, yeah. Who you got?
You could, if, ands, and buts, candies, and nuts, who's going to win the game? Okay. We're good. Go ahead. Take it away, kid.
That said it all.
I expect BC, though, to get real crafty out there and maybe throw the kitchen sink at them, right? They might have weather on their side, man.
I got BC. I'm saying it right now. I got BC. I got BC.
Mark, thank you for hanging out with us here on the set of College Football Live. Fantastic stuff from you. More on the show coming up. Quarterbacks, guys, have dominated
Boston College tomorrow at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
Coming up tomorrow, Inside Game Day. 3 decades after winning a title together, members of Notre Dame's 1988 national championship team saddle up on their Harleys and attend games to support their alma mater. Tom Rinaldi has that story. And on this Veterans Day weekend, Gene Wojciechowski has the incredible story of Marine Corps veteran Alexander Findura, who was once a body bearer and a member of an elite unit that carries Marines to their final resting place. And I got the story of how Clemson,
wow,
I knew that was coming, turned a larger-than-life running back tandem to the end zone when the team is trying to get there.
Will they fit on that plane?
Will they fit on the plane? Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe.
Big thanks to Wheels Up for delivering the guest picker for College Game Day each week. Can't wait to see who we have tomorrow. And let's check out those celebrity standings. Drew Bledsoe continuing to lead in our celebrity picker standings after going 11-3 when we were at Washington State. What a scene that was, man. Alex Bregman went 9-5 last week at LSU, but he's got a World Series ring, so good for him, right? We welcome Gene Wojciechowski to our set today, all bundled up.
They love you, Gene.
They love me here. They love me here.
It's your type of crowd, man.
Gene, what do you got for us this week?
Well, you know, every week I come up with a question. You kind of teased it here in the last second. Des has a Heisman vote. I have a Heisman vote.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't pick a quarterback on your Heisman ballot this year, who would you take?
Anthony Brown's a quarterback.
I think that's an excellent question. I really like that. I would probably go with Clemson's running back, Travis Etienne. I like Etienne a lot. I really do think that he's the glue of the offense. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is playing fantastic as a true freshman. He's doing this thing. You can't take anything away from Trevor Lawrence. But I think Etienne back there at the running back position, he's dynamic, he's explosive, and I think he's the guy who he's the glue of the offense to me.
I completely agree.
You got Travis too, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's not that many choices, you know, because again, this is a quarterback award. So if you go Gardner Minshew out west, he's a guy that I would put in the race that nobody really talks about. Obviously, Kyler Murray is killing it. He's going to be up there too. Will Greer last week said, hey, "Yeah, I'm here, bro."
Right.
But if you're asking me for a non-quarterback, Travis Etienne, he doesn't even touch the ball that much.
I know.
He gets like 13
count.
touches a game.
Yeah.
So if you rode him more, it'd be even more impressive. But he's the back that I think still has a chance to win.
I'll give you one that you'll appreciate and love.
I know exactly where you're going.
Quinnen Williams, nose tackle, Alabama. That guy gets double teamed when he walks off the bus.
Yeah.
Remember that Peyton Manning skit on Saturday Night Live where he says a little bit of pee comes out?
Yeah.
When an offensive lineman knows he's going up against Williams,
little dribble.
a little bit of pee comes out. I mean, look at what he did against LSU last week. 10 tackles,
Unreal.
3.5 tackles for losses,
Right.
2.5 sacks.
Yeah.
He leads Bama's for tackles for losses from that position. That has to be tough.
That's unbelievable.
All right, let me throw another name out there for you guys.
Okay.
A.J. Dillon.
AJ's the man.
The sauce boss. they can make mistakes on the offensive line, and even their quarterback make mistakes, and he will erase them all. That's how good he is. So
he's that type
see if he can chew up that turf tomorrow.
But he needs help from Brown. If he had a little better quarterback play, that dude would eat everybody alive. And if he was healthier, he hadn't been healthy either.
He's a little banged up with an ankle injury
but that dude,
now,
when he gets to the second level and people have to tackle him, people ain't happy about it. I promise you that. Those
well,
legs,
we know where this crowd stands.